Hello, today we're going to talk about the difference between used to, be used to, and get used to. They can be quite confusing. Let's start with used to. And before we do that, let's look at the present. I usually take the bus to work. She has short hair. The first one is a regular action in the present. The second one, have, is a state verb. And so she has short hair is a state in the present. I used to walk to school. She used to have long hair. Here, we use used to show the past. I used to walk to school is a habit, a regular action in the past. She used to have long hair. Again, have being a state verb, we're talking about a state in the past. We form it by taking the subject of the sentence, followed by used to, and then the infinitive. Let's look at examples. I didn't used to take the bus to school. She didn't used to have short hair. We form it with the subject, followed by didn't used to, and then the infinitive. A common mistake that people often make is to write, for example, she didn't used to have short hair. We don't need the D at the end of use because didn't is already in the past. We don't need to put the main verb use into the past as well. Here are some question examples. Did you used to go to the cinema as a child? Did she used to have long hair? Similarly, we have did, followed by the subject, and then used to, and then the infinitive. Again, we don't need a D on the end of use because did is already in the past. It's also important to note that we use used to talk about regular actions in the past or past states that aren't true now. So she used to have long hair. She doesn't have long hair now. She used to walk to school. Well, now she takes the bus or she drives, or maybe she has finished school, so it's no longer true. Would, in some ways, is quite similar to used to. I used to walk to school. I would walk to school. She used to have long hair. She would have long hair. No, not right. So we use would to talk about habits in the past only. So used to, we can talk about regular past actions and past states. Would is only for regular past actions. Now, be used to. We use that with a gerund to talk about a new situation that is now familiar or less strange than in the past. For example, I've driven in North America many times, so I'm used to driving on the right. Okay, so driving on the right isn't a problem for me anymore. I am used to it. I'm familiar. He always uses a pillow when he sleeps. He is not used to sleeping without one. It's not familiar for him to sleep without one. It's difficult for him. How's your new job going? Are you used to working night shifts yet? We're asking if you are familiar now already with working at night. Get used to is similar in that it is also followed by a gerund. It is also talking about a new situation, but this one is becoming familiar or less strange. It is not familiar yet. Be used to, the situation is already familiar. Get used to, we're talking about the process of becoming familiar. For example, don't worry, I'm sure you'll get used to driving on the right. You'll go through the process, you'll get there in the end. He used to use a pillow when he slept. He is getting used to sleeping without one. So he is in the process of it becoming familiar. Have you got used to working at night yet? So I'm asking, have you been through the process and got the result yet? So be used to and get used to, they can be pretty tricky. So essentially the thing to think about is the situation familiar? Or is it in the process of becoming familiar? If we take the verb to be with an adjective, let's say cold, for example, I am cold, I was cold, I will be cold. Or the same with the verb get. I'm getting cold, I'll get cold, I got cold. With the verb to be, you already feel cold, or you felt cold in the past. You predict in the future you will be cold. Whereas I'm getting cold, I'll get cold, I got cold. You're talking about the process before getting to the cold stage. So in a similar way, be used to, you're already familiar with it. Get used to is the process. You're talking about the process before you are familiar with it. I hope that makes sense. Essentially, the more you practice, the easier it will get. But let's summarize. So we use used to talk about a regular past action or a past state that is not true now. Would is used for a regular past action only, not a state. And again, it's not true now. Be used to is a new, familiar situation, whereas get used to is a new situation that's in the process of becoming familiar. Thank you for watching.